Hello everyone, and welcome to the Chiara Bazzani Thane Heins video podcast series, episode number 2. Today we are going to talk about the law of creation of energy. Specifically, Ørsted's law of creation of energy of 1820, where Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electromagnetic field energy can be created inside current-bearing wires at the subatomic quantum electron level. This information is critically important to China at this point in time with regards to President Trump's seizure of Venezuela oil. Most people may not be aware that 70% of Venezuela's oil was going to support China. And there is an issue now with regards to China and its energy viability. So in this video, we're going to introduce the law of creation of energy, and we're going to explain why that law of creation of energy and the ReGenX Generator technology, how that solves China's energy issues and prevents World War III between China and the United States, and it ensures China's energy security in the future. So what we have here is a conventional Faraday generator, and what the Faraday generator does is when it's generating electricity, the generator, when current flows in the windings of the generator, electromagnetic field energy is created inside the windings of the generator, in the current, in the windings of the generator at the subatomic quantum electron level, according to Ørsted's law of creation of energy of 1820, which states that when a voltage is induced in a current-bearing wire such that current can flow in that wire, electrons, which are in their valence orbits in the current-bearing wire, are forced out of their valence orbit via electron fission, and the electrons cascade within the wire as electron current or electric current. When the disassociated and unstable electrons return back down to their valence orbits, they emit photons which create and establish the electromagnetic field energy around the current-bearing wire, around the generator coils, and that created electromagnetic field energy performs negative work. It creates an electromagnetic field which produces a counter electromagnetic torque. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you here very quickly. So right now I'm turning the generator on no load, and it's very easy to turn the generator. The turning of the generator is inducing a voltage in the generator coils, but there's no current flowing through the coils. So when I connect the circuit, now current flows in the windings, the generator windings, through the circuit, and we have a closed electric circuit. Now it is extremely hard to turn the generator's drive shaft. In this scenario, I'm the prime mover. I am applying the input energy to mechanically turn the generator. However, the generator is performing negative work at infinite efficiency, and it's producing a counter electromagnetic torque. And that counter electromagnetic torque is, I'm turning the generator in the clockwise direction. The counter electromagnetic torque is performing a torque in the counterclockwise direction, or the counter electromagnetic torque direction. So currently, the global physics community would like you to believe that no energy is required to produce the counter electromagnetic torque, which violates Joule's work energy principle. And Joule's work energy principle states that work requires energy. And so what we have here is a Faraday generator, which is performing work, albeit negative work, with no external energy being added to the system. So this basically means that all Faraday generators since 1834 are classified as perpetual motion machines of the first kind, which perform negative work with no external energy being added to the system. So this is a ratchet. It could also be a mini torque wrench, for example. Now, if I want to apply a complementary, or a counterclockwise torque, I need energy. There's no way that I can derive torque without input energy. The same applies if I want to turn the ratchet or the torque wrench in the counterclockwise direction. Energy is required to produce torque. Energy is required to perform work. In the Faraday generator, negative work is being performed with created electromagnetic field energy, which is created according to Oersted's law of creation of energy, and it's producing a counter electromagnetic torque. In engineering terms, this is called generator armature reaction. Everybody knows it today as EV regenerative braking. EV regenerative braking is negative work which is being performed at infinite efficiency with created electromagnetic field energy, which is created according to Oersted's law of creation of energy. Okay, big deal. Faraday generators perform negative work. That's fine. Who cares? Okay. Who cares if they're perpetual motion machines of the first kind? You know, they do what they do. That's just the way it is. So in 2007, Thane Heins Energy Inc. discovered that when you introduce a load current time delay into the operation of a Faraday generator coil above the critical minimum frequency of operation of the coil, the generator coils will perform positive work. They will produce a complementary electromagnetic torque, and they will accelerate, the generator will accelerate the prime mover under load. Which means that when the ReGenX generator is placed on load, and this is a dead short, this is an infinite load. Okay, this is the maximum load that you can have on any generator. So with the ReGenX generator and ReGenX quantum motor innovations, US patented innovations developed at the University of Ottawa with support from Siemens, Magna International, HERO Electric of India, Electron Energy Corporation, California Diesel and Power, and the list goes on and on and on. Validated at MIT in 2008, replicated at Ottawa U, peer-reviewed, validated, and also replicated more than 22 times internationally by independent electrical engineers and researchers. So what does the ReGenX generator mean, and why is it so critically important to China right now? And how is this going to prevent World War III between China and the United States? Now, as a little bit of history, geopolitical history, in World War II, the United States cut off Japan's access to oil from the Middle East. And that forced Japan to get involved in World War II in order, because energy is a national security issue. So in the global scheme of things, in the global scale, currently the world generates 27,000 trillion watts of electricity every year. The world generates and consumes 27,000 trillion watts of electricity every single year. In order to generate, and 16,000 trillion watts of that 27,000 trillion watts is generated with fossil fuels. And China gets its fossil fuels, or was getting its fossil fuels, from Venezuela, Iran, and Russia, and coal from Australia. Now, the United States is also targeting Iran, so the energy squeeze on China is getting tighter and tighter. And China is going to be put in a position where they are going to have to respond, or they're going to have to accept the ReGenX generator technology, which says if you want to generate 16,000 trillion watts of electricity, or any magnitude of electricity, with a Faraday generator, which performs negative work with created electromagnetic field energy, produces a counter electromagnetic torque, you need, mathematically, you need 16,000 trillion watts of mechanical power in the drive shaft to generate that 16,000 trillion watts of electrical output. The ReGenX generator, on the other hand, does not produce a counter electromagnetic torque. It produces a complementary electromagnetic torque. It produces positive work with created and time-delayed electromagnetic field energy. So what does that really mean? Well, it means that if you want to generate 16,000 trillion watts of electricity with ReGenX generators, which do not produce generator armature reaction, you need 0 watts of mechanical input energy in the generator's drive shaft. 0 watts. Overall, that is an 80% reduction in the input energy requirements for China, for every country in the world, in order to generate the electricity that is required for that country. So China, Dr. Rasa at Beijing University, this is specifically directed at you. The Chinese government does not need Venezuela oil. It does not need Iranian oil. It can get by with 80% reduction in its input energy requirements simply by adopting Canadian invented, US patented ReGenX generators, which are free. So when China is ready, if China is ready, the ReGenX generator technology will be supplied to Chinese OEMs, as it will be supplied to all OEMs globally, generator manufacturers, motor manufacturers, EV OEMs, ICE vehicle OEMs for $0 in 2026 in joint venture partnership agreements. And this is a commercially manufactured ReGenX generator coil, which generates electricity at infinite efficiency, and it performs positive work at infinite efficiency above the generator coil's critical minimum frequency of operation. Below the critical minimum frequency of operation, negative work is still performed, and in EV applications, that means regenerative braking exists below 30 kilometers an hour, and regenerative acceleration exists above 30 kilometers an hour. In electricity generation, it means that electricity can be generated with 0 mechanical input watts, 0 prime mover input energy, 0 prime mover input energy cost, while producing 0 CO2 and 0 air pollution and 0 nuclear waste during the electricity generation cycle. So that's the message for today, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully China, Dr. Rasa, hopefully you get the message. Cheers for now.